Hey, welcome to another live session. This is James Madu speaking, trainingsites.io. I got one that's really exciting for you today. What I want to do is I want to share with you probably maybe 10, 12, 100 reasons why I think you should quit editing your software or your videos that you're putting up on YouTube and your training courses. All of the video content that you're creating, I think you should stop editing, don't bother with it anymore, and just work off of live stream. So I'm going to give you a whole bunch of reasons why that's a good idea. If you're a how-to creator, an educator, someone who's building your education business, why you shouldn't bother with editing anymore. I can give you a whole bunch of reasons for that. I'm going to go through a workflow of what really happens when you're doing traditional video editing versus live streaming. And also we'll take a look at some of the tools that you can use to do this quickly and easily. And probably, at the end of this, I hope one of the things that you kind of get out of it is that this is a lot of fun, that it's easy to do, and that once you get started, not only are you going to get better at it, but more importantly, you're going to be able to really monetize, I hope. And I'm not talking about just YouTube, but monetize your experience and everything that you have to share with other people. So let's kind of get started and think about what actually happens. And I'll go back and I'll talk just about, well, first of all, what is live streaming? And live streaming is, in our case, again, is this a technical definition of it? No. But what it is if you get in front of a camera, you're connected to the internet, you're in front of a camera and a microphone, what you can do is use some software that's either paid or free and basically film yourself and or record your audio live to a platform like YouTube, and it will be broadcast exactly the same as any TV station was. People can tune into your channel and watch live and in real time exactly what you're doing in front of your camera, in front of your screen. Now the part is that in front of your camera doesn't have to be at your desk. It's anywhere that you have some kind of camera that is directly connected to the internet. You can live stream from there. So if you have a static camera, for example, that is connected to the your desktop, a webcam, for example, or a smartphone, and that is connected to the internet, you can technically live stream. If you're filming yourself doing something, if it happens to be a craft or something like that, you can use your smartphone to record yourself doing something. You can do like I'm doing today, where we're just in front of the camera. I've got a webcam, a Insta360, a little webcam in front of me, a little cool one. I'll put some links below because it's a great resource. But you can just record yourself and it'll actually broadcast yourself like your own TV station. Now, if you're old enough, you might remember that when I was growing up, there was like 8 channels, right? If I go and take a look right now and I go up and I take a look and I say, well, what's happening on YouTube today? And we go visit that, what you're going to see is that there's 7 trillion channels and they're all screaming for our attention. But the difference is that some of those channels that people have are showing recorded videos or reruns, for lack of a better term, where it's something that happened in the past that we're going to pick from it. On the other hand, some people are actually live. So they are live right now broadcasting, and you can tune in live to their particular channel. And the best part is when you're doing live streaming is you can do the live stream, but you also get the recorded version or video available after. So it's like a 2-for-1 kind of shot. So does it cost anything to live stream? No, absolutely not. You can do that today if you want to, just hooking up to YouTube. You can go and YouTube is kind of the de facto platform for it, but you can live stream on Facebook, any of the other social media networks. Plus there's a whole bunch of other different pieces of software to do live streaming if you're into different markets, for gaming, for example. So huge, huge, huge opportunity. Lots of people are doing it. It's not that complicated, and it's really free. So here's kind of what happens when I got started doing this, and this is kind of why I moved to live streaming. And I'll go back a little bit because it's an important story to kind of think of, because you may have been taught this, or you may have had heard this is the way to do things, and I don't think it is at all anymore, and more importantly, it's going to get less so. So when I first started out, there was kind of like I was doing a bit of research this morning for this, and one of the things that came up, I was just trying to figure out how much time does it actually take to edit a video for YouTube, and how much time or money does it actually cost to edit a video. If you're teaching online, you're creating course content, you're creating how-to content, you know, you have a lot of stuff in your head, you want to get it out, hours worth of stuff. Just put this in perspective when you're thinking about this. Again, I looked these stats up on perplexity.ai this morning, which is like a search engine of search engines. So are these exact kind of numbers? No, but just to give you an idea, perspective of it, the kind of rule that they had that was there was that it basically takes anywhere, what was the exact stat? Yeah, it takes 1.5 hours per minute of fully edited video. Think about that for a second. 1.5 hours per minute of fully edited video. So in the last 90 days, I've done 255 videos. I think 200 of them plus have been live streams. And on average, my live streams go anywhere from 16 to 25 minutes. So if I was looking at that, how much time would have I had to spend to do 1,000 minutes times 1.5 hours per minute? It is astronomical. Now, the editing that usually gets done is, this is the way I was brought up, is when you do a basic edit, you basically have to capture the footage. So you may record something on your digital camera, your Canon camera or whatever, on your webcam, on your phone, but you have to capture some edit. So, you've got to, first of all, be able to capture it. You'll have to have some kind of setup so that the lighting is correct and that you've got audio correctly done. And especially if you're moving around and stuff, you may have to really have that kind of scripted out so that you know exactly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And you're going to capture that raw footage and you're going to try and organize it. And you may have cuts or multiple takes as you practice all of this, because the goal, or the thing that you've kind of been told, is it has to be perfect. You want to have something that is super professional. And this is the story that I kind of grew up with. And, when you get all of this raw video and you arrange it, what you can kind of do is put it together and have it as a video with just some basic edits. And I always talked about putting a tip and a tail on what you recorded. So that would be some kind of introduction to it at the tip, and then a wrap-up example for at the end of it. So it's like, tell what you're going to do, capture what you're going to do, and then tell people what you did. I'm talking about how-to stuff, not about entertaining. On the other hand, if I go watch YouTube videos, which I do on a regular basis, until recently everyone was talking about you have to have retention editing. Every 6 to 7 seconds you have to have a cut to keep people's attention. And it was super produced, all sorts of stuff, zooming in, zooming out. And to be honest with you, I have no idea how to do that. So if I don't know how to do it, and YouTube's telling me that I have to do it to keep people's attention, and more importantly, I want to have a professional video for all the course content and how-to content I create, what do? Well, I send it to an editor. And of course, if you have an editor, and I'm not knocking editors, they're absolutely great at what they do. And for particular markets, I highly recommend them. However, for creating how-to content, I don't think it's really necessary anymore. And here's why. Normally what happens is, if you get a basic edit, like I was talking about, where you have kind of that tip and a tail, and you may have some basic cuts to bring stuff, or what's called B-roll, where some additional video may be brought in. Those might be able to be done pretty quickly. However, if you get to things, for example, where there's animations coming in and fancy transitions and split screens and those things called lower thirds across the bottom where you have information. But there's a whole bunch of additional things, special effects, transitions, all of this stuff that can be done to make it more engaging, but it takes time and it takes money because you've got to pay for this, unless you know how to do it yourself and you've learned how to use this software. But for me, I would rather just talk and share what I know as opposed to spend my time creating all of these videos. I don't know about you, but I can use software. I'm pretty good at it. Once I find kind of a system that I'm comfortable with, I'll stick with it. I don't want to learn everything about a particular piece of software. I want to know enough to get by. So, you know, for me, I get a bit of a workflow in place, and if I'm happy with that, I can quickly get the outcome that I want, which is, in my case, I want to be able to create how-to material and videos and share my experiences with people. So, lower thirds, text overlays, titles, animations, all of that stuff gets done, and there's all sorts of great pieces of software for that. So for Adobe Premiere, for example, there's Final Cut, there's one called DaVinci, which is free, tons of them, and you can find all sorts of great courses on YouTube to actually do and create that. So having said that, what are the real reasons that you have to, you know, think about these things, and what's the stuff that is really great about live streaming and why I think you should do it? So based on all that cost, based on all that stuff that we've actually done, what is the best thing about live streaming? And then we'll go into how I actually start it. So the first one is live streaming. If you go to YouTube right now and you take a look at the live streams, and let me just pull up, I think I can do one here. Let me just do, yeah, I'm across the top here, and you can see that we've got all podcasts, and on this one, there's one called Live. So of these sessions, all of these are live right now in real time. So here's one, someone's doing a webinar selling on Instagram and Facebook. It started 5 minutes ago. What are some ones about? Let's do a search for selling courses, and we'll do it and keep it on live. So we're going to go through this. Hopefully some will come up. Online. There's some ones that are online. Let's see. Do we get any live ones? Don't know if it came up with live ones. There we go. Let's try that now. There we go. Editing. No thanks. There's me doing it live. Some on Bitcoin. Again, you have to do the searches and go through the ones that you want. But the fact is, these ones are all live running now. I wish I had some better examples, but that's what came up right now. And again, the examples that you come up versus live is based on what you're selling, and more importantly, whereabouts your location and what you've been looking at in the past. So, you know, that ability to have a live video allows for one thing that is really, really, really cool, and that is live interaction in real time. You're in the studio with people, where these are not recorded videos. It's a chance to interact with people, and all of these live ones, if you give it the option, have the ability for your audience to actually chat live and in real time with you. So these, this is direct engagement with the audience. And I always think of it this way. If you're looking at it and you're thinking about, okay, I'm teaching something, there's two kinds of teaching. You have the video instruction, which is static, recorded, anytime learning, and then you have live teaching. And what's that about? The best part is the interaction with the teacher. And that is the huge benefit, I think, moving forward. I'll get to this at the end. When we're doing this, is the ability to interact live with the student or the person that you're trying to teach. The other huge reason you want to do this is the speed at which you can create content. Some of the times, if you go take a look at a YouTube video, and some of them, you know, if people that I subscribe to, for example, I'll watch a video today, but the video was created a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Now, some of them even longer, and they might have recorded pieces from there and then try and curate it or bring it all together. Now, I'm not knocking that. The thing is that if you're live streaming, if some news comes on, for example, that I'm seeing live and in real time or looking at the screen, if something happens, I can start recording or talking about it live. So everything is instant. Remember I said it was 1.5 hours per minute of finished video. This is 1 for 1. If you want to go and talk in front of the camera, you can just go talk in the camera. So it's incredibly fast. The next thing that I want you to think about is authenticity. And this is the one that's really kind of grabbing things right now on YouTube, and I think it's important for online teaching and courses as well, is this whole notion of making sure that you're there, that you're present, that you're communicating passionately about what it is that you're excited about, as opposed to a structured recording of something. So, one of the things that's really hard for people is when they're starting to be recorded and it's a recording. There might be other people in the room, and I don't know about you, but when I first started, it was like, oh my God, what are they thinking? Or did I sound funny? And it's like you get worried because you're not talking into the camera. You're trying to do what you're supposed to do, but you're being aware of what everything else is going on around you and what other people are thinking. And you may have to do 5 takes, 10 takes, 20 takes to get what you want. And then the editor has to cut and match all the good parts from the bad parts. So this is far more authentic when you're doing live streams. And more importantly, those live streams allow you to be you. And if you've been on YouTube for any while, or you watch some of the YouTube videos and the people who are experts or have been very comfortable on YouTube, they're all about being you and that you are the brand. You are the person that delivers the content. And remember, everyone has the content. It's not as if there's a scarcity of content. There's a scarcity of you. You are the part that isn't the commodity. The information is. So your ability to be authentic and really get out there and share yourself, that is a huge value, especially when you're teaching stuff online and creating recordings of it by live streaming. So easy way to be super authentic. The other thing is the sense of urgency that happens when you're doing a live stream. Again, when you do a live stream, it might be for a specific purpose that's happening now. If you're doing a recorded course or a video edited course or a highly edited course, you're doing something that might happen in the future. So that kind of juxtaposition between, I want to get this out now. I need to get it out. It's the top of my head. It's something I need to share because it's appropriate now. That is available for live streaming. It's just not available when you're doing video editing and recording all of your videos. The other thing that's really neat here is this whole sense of community that gets built. Now, one of the previous videos I talked about was all about this transition from course to courses to membership to community to training. You have live interaction. You're going to have people who like watching your live stream. It's like they watch a sitcom, right? It's like they come and they see the same show or they want to see the show. And in many cases, when you do a live stream, you're showing content from a specific, if you want to call it niche, you can, but niche is a funny word. It gets misused or overused. But if you're talking about a continual topic or something, the topic is you, or the topic is the category of content that you discuss or play with on a regular basis, that community is like a sitcom. People will come just to find out more about what you learned yesterday or the day before or the week before, and people will continue to follow you because not only are they interested in you, but you bring them along a journey through the education and their ability to interact, get questions and stuff, has huge value for building out this whole community of people. Super cost effective. Again, you can do this for free, and I'll show you some software to do that. You can start doing it today. If you have your phone, that's all you need. If you have a webcam, easier. Just go and buy a $49 webcam to start off with. Technically, you can go and be doing it in about 10 minutes up and started. Very, very straightforward. Now, the other thing that most people don't remember, and there's some people, and I've heard this, I don't know if it's absolutely 100% true, so take it with a ball of wax, but I guess in the gaming community, there's software like Twitch and a number of live streams of people gaming or having people, like multiple people gaming at the same time, and they actually just show videos of themselves doing what it is that they do. Now, this kind of live stream environment is also available in terms of monetizing it live and in real time. And think of a couple scenarios here. The first one is when you're live streaming, think of the shopping channel. If I go to the shopping channel, I'm watching someone sell me something, but it's a live stream. And they're telling me, these are all the benefits, these are all the great things it does. And by the way, here's how you order. So this is something that can be done in real time. It's not necessarily as easy if you're doing a whatchamacallit, a filmed video or an edited video. Now here's the difference. Let's say you're trying to show something or you're trying to figure something out. Someone has a question. How do you do that? They type it in a chat of a live stream. You answer the question. You've now taken a much better chance of actually selling something as opposed to it. There's also some stuff like super chats, live ads, other things that you can mention live in the stream that have the opportunity to generate revenue. It just isn't available if you've edited something. And part of the thing, when you see edited stuff, a lot of times if you're trying to sell something and you're not a natural in front of a camera and have a really great editor, it's kind of like you have this edited stuff and then there's this chunk in the commercial, which is like a chunk in the middle, which is like a commercial that's completely out of context. You wasted 30 seconds or whatever, like you flick to another channel like you would on TV and then it comes back to the show. It's far easier on a live stream to be able to interject and interact with all of the people in the community that you're building and guide them to areas where you can generate a little bit of extra money. So those are 10 reasons why you probably want to do that. There are some cons. It's not perfect at the end of the world. It still takes some practice to actually do this. And that's the great thing about live streaming. If you have a channel when you're first starting, it doesn't mean people are tuning in, and you can live stream and be really bad at it, and that is just okay. You can do some practice live streams. Go ahead and do it. See what happens. If you have a YouTube channel, it's a great place to start. The reason being is that you can actually mark unlisted and or private after it's done, and you should be okay if you do a live stream. No one's going to come on when you start, no one at all. And in fact, most of the live streams that I still do, people don't come on a regular basis. I'm okay with that, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. But my point is just get started doing it. Practice, play around, have some fun, get used to talking to the camera, get used to fumbling, because it doesn't have to be perfect and no one's expecting it to be perfect. Just don't bother with that stuff. Just get on, talk to yourself if you have to, talk to the camera as if you were having a conversation with someone. So practice, and the big reason is there can be some technical issues. And I'll show you in a minute kind of the stuff that I run into personally, but I have a camera, I have a stream deck that's here, I have a second camera on a tripod, I've got 2 monitors, I've got kind of a setup here. I didn't start like that, but I moved into it, and guess what happens? Stuff happens. It takes some time to actually get used to this technology. My point is, at the start, you don't have to do any of that. You can just get started. The other thing is a lack of control. You have to be really comfortable as you're moving forward with this, is that you're going to be in a position where if stuff happens, it happens. And that can be, for example, I've done ones where I didn't have the right mic connected to a live stream. So I did a really great live stream, but no sound was recorded and no sound came out. Other ones, you might have a camera on a tripod and all of a sudden the tripod gets knocked off and it's gone south and you have to fumble around to put it together. So you don't have any control over that. And that can be very, very troublesome for people. Again, practice, get your system set up, fool around with it. You're going to find that it's okay if you muck up, because people understand that you're real and you're authentic, and stuff happens. Okay? Now, one of the other things that I really think people struggle with at the start is this whole notion of doing a real-time performance. And doing these live sessions and being comfortable with them just takes training, repetition, and actual practice. I'm recalling just yesterday when I did the other video, I was talking about the difference between a community site and a training site. And like in athletics, it's one thing to be able to know how to do a sport. The fact that you have to go and actually do it and repeat it to get better at it is what live streaming is all about as well. You're going to have performance anxiety. Thing is that once you do it more than once, couple times, make some mistakes, you're going to go, oh, this works, this doesn't, and you're going to find that it gets much easier to do the stuff that you're comfortable with because it's muscle memory. In our case, it's performance memory. You'll be able to go and, oh yeah, I got to remember to look in the camera. Oh, I remember to change the volumes of my voice. Oh, I remember I've got to use my hands when I'm communicating stuff online. So, you know, don't feel pressure to perform. Feel pressure to share and be authentic, I think would probably be a better thing. Here's the real big one that is kind of exciting for me. And even though I'm talking about editing, and I'm going to do a whole other video on this one, but there's something called live editing, and live editing is where live streaming absolutely shines. And I'm going to show you why. Here's some examples of live editing. Now, remember I talked about editing when you do transitions and lower thirds and all of these things? So right now I want you to look at the bottom of the screen, and you can see there's that lower third that says training sites right there, right? I also have the one that says training sites /AI course. So that's a lower third. It's something that's there. I also have this screen where I have one of my monitors and I have a headshot of myself. Okay. I also have another screen, which is a full screen with a bubble in the bottom with my headshot in the bubble. I also have things like I can add some sound in. The other one I can do, for example, is I have my video pencil. Let's use this one. So my fancy video pencil here, which is a little iPad, you know, I can write on it, for example, and do some stuff here, some diagrams and clear it. And this is live in real time. Now, what have I just done? Technically, what I've done is I've done a whole bunch of edits. These are live edits. And as you get kind of into this, your ability to move back and forward between screens on the fly is in fact editing your video. If I just recorded my headshot and I wanted to do some of the things that I did, I would have to ask my editor to make these kind of cuts and screens other than just looking into the camera. So it's one thing to record it in the camera, but be able to do these things like these live edits, like these things back and forth. All I'm doing right now is moving my finger on an iPad or changing the zooms in the lower thirds. These are all live edits that can be done. And again, I have a whole video on how I'm doing this. But I can't do fancy transitions as much. I don't need to. But if you want or need to have really fancy stuff or even additional examples that are external of yourself, there's ways to do it with live edits by playing other videos in your live stream, which is really cool as well. But you're going to be limited. You can do live editing, but it's not 100% editing, which is, you know, you got to be really happy with that. The other thing with live streams, you have to remember that if my show is on now at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 6 a.m. on the West Coast, and it's 3 in the afternoon in Europe. So you got to be comfortable with the fact that if you are all about just the live stream part or the actual live broadcast of your channel, different time zones, some people will see the live, some people won't. The best part is when you're creating these live streams, you're also capturing the live stream as a recorded video. So not only do you get your live TV, you also get the rerun available to use as you like, which is another kind of story that we're working on. So some of the other things I just want to make sure, you know, time zones, you got limited content structures, you're going to be less discoverable. You can see in my example when I was looking up on the screen here, there was all sorts of different, you know, if we go to all and we go there, there's all sorts of different videos that are available to us, but there's not as many live yet. And the interesting thing for me personally is that the majority of YouTubers that I follow and subscribe to, a lot of them are moving to live. And I think you're going to see that more and more as people realize that there's so much content that it's hard to keep up. And doing a recorded video, it's just too hard to keep up. That's the first thing. And the second thing is with all of the AI generated content, people have access to content, but they don't have access to you. So if you're teaching online courses, if you're creating how-to material, this notion of being connected to people, I think is going to be absolutely huge as teaching as opposed to recording and organizing content. Blended learning. I still think there's a great place for, you know, for recorded video, but I think there's much more value in live streaming, answering questions, teaching, and having access to that as opposed to having to, to do a fancy edit on something. And editing, not only if you do live edits like this, you can get content out a day, twice a day when you come up with a great idea. It doesn't have to go to production. It doesn't have to actually wait. So, when all of these things, you're probably looking at it and you're going, okay, well, should I even bother with live stream, or what's the real benefit to this? And here's the one from a marketing perspective that I think is kind of cool. And again, I'll have some additional videos on this, and I'll do some additional live streams going over the exact process. But in my particular case, I follow a process that I have pretty comfortable with right now. And let me do this one. I'll open up this one here. Here's, for example, I have my dashboard where we have my video ideas. I've got 52 of them right now. But if I take a look and I open up one of them, just to have a quick example at it, is I've got a set of processes that I can go through quickly, that in this example of this video of a live stream that I'm doing today, it took me, I used some AI to create the title, the thumbnail, and the description, which was all done. I used Canva with a template, and I just changed the text on the template every week. I have some affiliate links that I put in. I also have, for example, on this one, this one's the kind of important one I'm going to get to a little bit later. Create 5 social media posts for new video and send notification video to list. So once you get a system put together, you can have these whipped out in, if I do, I don't know how long I've been talking here. Not even quite sure how long I've been talking here. But in this particular case, I might take 30 minutes of actual live streaming time, but it only took me 15 or 20 minutes to prepare for it. So not only is it absolutely quick, but if you get a system down, and I'll share the system I have in detail in another video, you can whip these out quickly. And more importantly, and this is the best part from a marketing perspective, when you create these, you also have a recording of the live stream. That's when you can use all these AI tools that I've been talking about to repurpose, recut, reuse all of this stuff you captured. You can use AI tools to do this, to create shorts, to create social media posts, to create blog posts, to create courses. But you capture the content, that digital exhaust that you have, and it's out and available for you to reuse to grow your business. And share your story and get your community growing just because you're you doing stuff. So there's a lot of really fun stuff that's available, and it's all about getting out there and sharing a bit of yourself, but practice to start with live streaming. I don't recommend practicing and editing yourself and doing video edits. I would just do live streaming. You get used to live streaming. It's going to be huge. If you're teaching online, you're going to want to be able to do live streaming, not just recording, and have some fun with it. Just share, have some fun. Now, here's a couple easy ways to get started. I'll just bring these up so that you can see it. I'm going to leave you with some links below as well here. There's a couple good ones. This is the one that I use. This is called Ecamm, and I have a whole bunch of different ones for that. But this particular one allows you to do interviews with people. Again, live and in real time. You can see these ones. This is Mac only, and this does live edits where I can create scenes as examples, have effects that go in, overlays like the YouTube thing here that go in and out. You can take comments live in real time. These are all available, and you can have guests in, which is a great way to create content, of course. So that one's called Ecamm Live. I have some additional videos on that one. The other ones that I like that are very, very easy to use are one called riverside.fm, and I'll put the links there. But this particular one allows you to do live streams, but it allows you to do the editing, the transcribing, the cuts and stuff right within the software. So you don't even have to really worry about, you can do some of the live edits with some screens, but you can actually do everything right within this tool. And you don't have to figure out how to use some of those other software like Final Cut and Adobe Premiere and DaVinci and all those fancy ones. But there's a good one, riverside.fm. And then the kind of one you often hear about more is one called StreamYard. And this particular one, let me see if I can go to, These ones, you can go live webinars, you can go and do live streams right away. There's one I was playing around with here, July 31st, last month, studio. And on these particular ones, you can actually go out and get formatted screens with a guest, yourself, a screen capture, video only. Again, all of this live editing stuff is done for you directly within the software. Now, some people say, I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. Well, I think you're lying to yourself if you've used Zoom before. Because remember, if you have a Zoom account, you can record a Zoom video, you can do you can have other people on and record them, you can have screen captures. Anything that you do in Zoom can be recorded. So technically, a Zoom call is a live stream. It's not as easily edited or changed like Riverside or StreamYards, StreamYard. So you have the ability to do that, but it's there. It's a piece of software, and you're probably already doing it or probably already been on it. And if you're not comfortable, do some live Zooms. Do a Zoom call with yourself, and don't put your head in. Just get used to hearing your voice and working the slides back and forth, but record it. If you want to just show your face, play around with it and just talk into the camera on your Zoom call. See what happens. Play around with it and see how it works, and just record it live in real time, and you'll have a chance to say, yes, I did a live stream. And when push comes to shove, don't be afraid. Just go to YouTube, open up your YouTube account, and you can actually, again, there's a number of videos on how to do a live stream on YouTube, but it's pretty straightforward stuff, and it really makes it easy for us as educators or people who are having fun sharing what it is they want, building courses, training online, teaching online. This is great fun. If any of this makes sense to you, or you want to learn more about it, you want to ask me questions, just make sure to go to trainingsites.io, and you can actually book some time with me if you want on that page. Take a half hour, we'll chat about it. We will actually do all of this stuff with you as part of our agency. We'll actually create training sites with you and show you how to do stuff like live stream and turn it into courses and create all that training material and help you market it. That's what our business is about. But if you just want some courses, want to figure it out yourself, we have some great tutorials that are available there for you as well. Again, my name is James Maduke. It's trainingsites.io. I do these sessions every morning, once a day during the week, just because it's a lot of fun, and I got lots of experience to share, so I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again, hopefully tomorrow, and if not, it'll be one of the next days. And the best thing is, they're all here on YouTube for you to watch if you miss a live stream. Any topic you want about starting, building, growing your education business, it's here. Take care and expect the best.